A new drama on ITV tonight tells the real-life story of the White House farm murders. It was front-page news back in 1985. I remember it vividly. An entire family were killed in their Essex farmhouse. It was initially believed that young mum, Sheila Caffell, had killed her parents and her 6-year-old twins before then taking her own life. Eventually, though, the truth was revealed, and it was actually her brother, Jeremy Bamber, who was found guilty.
Officers entered the premises and found all 5 occupants deceased.
Your sister, your parents, the boys, they're all gone.
Do you really believe Sheila was capable of doing something like that?
She was very ill.
I know what you did.
What?
I know.
What? You're saying it's murder-suicide, then?
I'm not just saying that's what happened.
It's like nothing ever happened. He doesn't care.
I want to tell you what really happened that night at White House Farm.
Well, I'm joined now by Cressida Bonas, who plays Sheila in the drama, and with her is Colin Caffell, who, of course, was Sheila's real-life ex-husband at the time of the murders. And, Colin, for you, it was so important for you to get involved in this, to make sure that the story was handled properly, and also, you know, for Sheila, to make sure that the truth was told.
Well, I think it was a matter of... It was going to happen anyway,
right.
that ITV had commissioned the film. But Chris Merkser, the scriptwriter, saw my book, read it, and thought, I can't do justice to this without Colin's involvement.
Right.
When I went to meet them, I liked them, I trusted them, I felt safe with them. And I thought if I can have any influence over the outcome, it's better to be involved than not be involved.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. And was it strange, though, to see Cressida as Sheila?
It was quite shocking, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't meet you till after all the filming was done.
Yeah.
But when I first saw her on screen, I thought, gosh, it is Sheila at that time.
Absolutely incredible.
It's remarkable how you did that.
Yeah.
You really did pick up the fragility of her character. Like you really had a wonderful, heartful insight into that, and I thank you for it.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Because it wasn't just about what you looked like, because obviously, clearly, there is a resemblance there, but it was getting the essence of the woman, and obviously, as Colin said, a terribly fragile young woman. And you know, and again, I suppose, obviously, every role's challenging, isn't it, Cressida? But this in particular, there's a bit more pressure, isn't there, to get it absolutely right?
It was a challenge, and obviously a huge responsibility to get it right. And also, there's no footage of her, so really it was Colin's book and another book by Carol Ann Lee that they were really my guidelines to go on. And I just did a lot of research to make it as emotionally truthful and get the psychological truth of it is just so important, especially when you're playing a real person and the horrors that happened. It's a huge responsibility. So.
Yeah, she had a tough time. I mean, she really did have a tough time. She was adopted, and her adoptive parents were strict. I mean, in the book, you talk... The book is called In Search of the Rainbow's End, and you talk a lot about that and how tough it was for her. She had found her birth mother, though, and that made her...
I think...
Happy, you think?
It made her very happy, because I realised that it was a toxic relationship between Sheila and June.
Yes, this was June, her adoptive mother.
Yeah, the adoptive mother. And I found that when I kept her away from the farm and her adoptive mother, things improved. Then when she met her real biological mother, I just saw this wonderful transformation. I never saw her look so happy, apart from the day she gave birth to the twins. And it was just wonderful. And I've since got to know Christine.
No, her mum, which is good, which you've got.
And that's a big tragedy as well, because she found her daughter and then lost her immediately. Exactly. And her grandsons.
And of course, the biggest tragedy, it was the boys who would have been 40.
They'll be 40 this year.
40 this year, gosh, that's a... Can you remember them now with love and remember them as they were, these beautiful... Look at these beautiful boys. You know, rather, because the pain
Daniel's the one with the haircut.
Right.
He trimmed his hair one day for some reason. Nicholas is the cheeky one.
Oh, but you just think, you know, that was taken away, and what they might have achieved, we'll never know. We'll never know. That's
a great loss for my daughter as well, because she's these 2 half-brothers that she's never known. Yeah. She would have loved to have had 2 big brothers.
I know. Yeah. It just seems, it's so sad. And again, with you, Cressida, you've got to get that across, because Sheila was, initially, I remember it so well. I remember how she was really, really vilified in the press. You know, her reputation was absolutely trashed. And so it's so important for you to embody the woman that she was, the true person that she was. That's the thing, isn't it?
And I think back then mental illness was treated so differently to how it is now.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important thing to show. That how nowadays it wouldn't be treated like that. If this happened now, you know, she wouldn't have been attacked like that for having mental illness, because now we're so much more aware and we talk about it in such a different way to how we did then. And that's really shocking to see, actually. And I wasn't alive when it happened. So when I did all this research, it was really, I couldn't believe how she was treated back then.
It was such a stigma then, wasn't it? It was awful.
There was, and it's almost gone to the other extreme now.
Yeah.
Everybody's wearing their hearts on their sleeve, you know.
Maybe that's no bad thing.
No,
maybe
I
that's no
suppose
bad
not.
thing. You know, that's the way of it. I'm amazed, and you talk about it because the book has been updated, obviously.
Yes, I've added some new chapters which encapsulate the last 25 years into 2 chapters.
Well, yes,
that was difficult.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
But you are living proof that you can, even after the most horrific tragedy, that you can rebuild your life, because you went on to do that. Because the worst thing would have been that Jeremy Bamber not only killed his mother, his father, your 2 wee boys, and Sheila, and tried to blame it on her, but he would have wrecked your life as well.
Well, he tried to, but I just refused to be a victim. I thought, I'm a survivor. I'm not going to let him beat me as well. You know,
that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Because you knew, didn't you, when it was all happening, and initially they said, oh, Sheila had killed everyone and then killed herself. You had this gut feeling that there was no way she could have done that.
When it first happened, I didn't want anything to disturb my original memories of the children.
Right.
I didn't want to see the bodies. I didn't want to identify them. So I didn't let anybody tell me anything. So I kind of accepted the story. So I was completely seduced by Jeremy.
And obviously in shock and grief and all of that.
And in terrible shock. But then once somebody explained it was a rifle, I thought Sheila could never have used a rifle. She had no idea. She wouldn't have known one end of it from another. And with her medication, she wouldn't have had any hand-to-eye coordination.
Right.
And this was a marksman's skill. So for me, I started writing the book to make sense of it, to clear her name. And the press are actually backtracking like crazy at the moment. It's like they're trying to redeem themselves. But it was trying to understand mental health and what was going on in that family. Was it nature or nurture? You know, so it was lovely that I met Christine. I've said her name.
Yeah, this is her birth mother.
Birth mother, yeah. And just trying to understand it.
Sure.
And that was my journey of catharsis.
It's a tough read. I mean, I know you've read it as well, Cressida. It's a hard read. It's not an easy read, is it? But it's really, really important to get this across.
Yeah, it is. It is. And actually, that book on set was my absolute. I just had it under my arm all the time.
Is that your Bible?
Yeah, exactly. And sticky notes all the way through it. So
you've done a remarkable job.
Thank you.
I think you would agree.
Thank you so much.
You've done a remarkable job. You really have. And the cast is very, very strong, and it's treated with real sensitivity. It really is, as it should be, because it's your story.
Thank you.
Your story. Thank you both. Very, very much indeed. I wish you all the best, Cressida, for your career, because this is...
She's got a great future.
Oh, you bet.
I think so.
You bet. Thank you very much.
You,
and White House Farm starts on ITV tonight at 9 o'clock, and Colin's book is out tomorrow, isn't it? So
tomorrow it comes out, yeah.
It does. Thank you.